Hello all my good people. All right, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. We're gonna be talking about tag grading today. I know I've been putting this off for a while. The recent news is stale at this point, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. So recently there was an awesome video that kind of went viral. Guy was basically hyping up tag grading for like the entirety of the video. He's hyping up tag grading, and you're like, I thought that there's something wrong with tag grading and why we should be worried about it. This guy's just hyping it up the whole time. And he's like saying like, oh, it comes in this packaging, and oh, look how sleek it is, and look how the slab looks. And I gotta admit, guys, the slabs look amazing. I really like the tag slabs. I do. I even think it sounds super catchy, Tag Slabs. I think this company is going to be a company that's probably going to stick around for the long haul. Personally, I think that they're going to be stubborn. I think that they're going to be working every angle. And I think that there's no reason they can't improve on the problems that have arisen so far. But here's what happens. This guy's giving you a POV of the cards and breaking it down and how he receives them. And there's this really nice packaging that the tag cards come in, which we don't get from PSA. PSA just sends you a box and everything is stacked together. And a lot of times people end up with chipped and scratched slabs. That happens all the time. So I like that Tag has this other approach to delivering and returning your graded cards. Another thing that's nice about Tag is the way that the slabs look. Instead of having this solid paper grade, which most of the grading companies have for the certificate, which also authenticates the cards, they just have it kind of like laser etched into the card in white on the clear plastic. What's also cool about their clear slabs is that if you were to take a photo or do some kind of photo op or take it to, take a Blastoise that's been tag graded to a waterfall and take a photo of it, it's super clear. The slabs are super clear. So it's almost like it would allow for better photo ops for cards to kind of blend in with their backgrounds in a way that you could not do with PSA or CGC slabs without like editing things around, or BGS. So I like that tag grading has some things to it that really differentiate it from all the other grading companies. Additionally, the most important thing that differentiates Tag from the other grading companies is the fact that they have this really cool grading scale, this kind of database that comes with the card. When you scan the card, you can see why it got all of the grades that it got. And you can also see things like dings and dents. I might be wrong on the dents part, but I know they have a thing that points out like, hey, it's dinged in this section of the card. I think that is outstanding. And I think that's why a lot of people want to get behind Tag, because they're getting tired of PSA. They're getting tired of CGC and BGS. And people are getting tired of chasing the best of the best. And some people just want to truly know what their card is fully valued at and how it would truly grade. And I feel like Tag really encompasses what it means to truly grade a card using their AI style of grading. I like the idea of taking humans out of the grading element. I really do. It's a scary thing, and it's also a really innovative thing that I think is kind of inevitable and goes against the grain of the norm in grading. Now, the problem with this is PSA has been the gold standard for a long time. Are you going to be able to knock them off that high horse? I don't know. CGC hasn't been around nearly as long, but they've been around grading comics for probably similar time frame. They've been doing that a long time. So while people think CGC is new on the block, CGC has been doing stuff with comics before they started doing cards. And then there's BGS, which I still have a lot of respect for. The black labels are incredible. They hold grading to a new level of standard. So I think, there's a place for all grading companies, but the main issue about that video that kind of went viral where the guy's hyping it up is he goes to holding the cards and he's like, yeah, they just feel so sturdy, and he kind of squeezes on it a little bit, right? Like I'm going to even put that pressure. I'm going to put that pressure on this PSA slab. Man, these things, PSA has its own problems, but bro, this is, unless you're cracking with a tool or something, it's hard to crack those open. This guy single-handedly cracked open a tag grading card. Now, someone DM'd me a reasoning why, because they reached out to tag grading, and the response they got, and I'm not even going to post tag's response here because I don't want to get in any kind of trouble. I don't want to get dragged in any type of way. I'm just giving my opinion on it and kind of a little stance on it. So what the person DM'd me was their response, which was essentially, this is a security proprietary feature that would, you know, allow, if the slabs are tampered with at all, they break immediately. That's kind of an interesting thing, you know, like I want to buy into that. I want to believe it, but I also just think, like, I'm going to be real with you guys. Cap, total cap. That is, in my opinion, trying to cover your tracks for the fact that your slabs are malfunctioning and do break very easily, which, I'm sorry, kind of a concern, because if you drop a tag slab on the ground and it just slips and you make a mistake, I've dropped a couple of my PSA slabs. I'm not proud of my Butterfingers, but occasionally I go, whoa, 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 and it falls, okay? It falls, it hits the ground, and the card might even get damaged inside, but the slab remains intact and stable. I don't think that would be the case with tag slabs, and that's very important. Part of the biggest reason that I am grading my cards is to protect them, right? And even in the encasing process, PSA manages to damage cards consistently. So even then, grading cards isn't necessarily a safe bet when you're trying to really keep them in the best possible condition. I would say grading is probably a bad idea, but a lot of us take our chances with it anyways, because the thrill of owning a PSA 10 or a BGS Black Label or a CGC Pristine is just so amazing that we continue to keep going for it and chasing that dream. And it is a money game. I'm not proud of it, but it is nice to know the market value of your cards and know that they're protected. I think some people probably have it twisted on why I'm grading. I'm not necessarily grading because I think grading is a money game, which I'm trying to figure out that side of it, right? Because I think it's a fair game. I think if you are grading a ton and you're getting 10s back and the 10 market is hot and people are buying that, then, hey, man, you're going to get the spoils of war for going out of your way, paying all the fees, taking the gamble, and then trusting PSA to not fuck up the process, or any grading company for that matter. I believe that people that are grading and making money on it, I think they deserve that, right? Because there's a huge risk to it. You know, you can have just as much downside as you can have upside. But, yeah, with tag grading, one of the biggest points, going back before I just go off on ADD tangents, because I'm really good at that, guys. Oh, a bird. Dude, a slab should not crack that easily. That's a huge issue. And before I even consider putting a dime into anything tag or even grading with them, I would personally, maybe you guys won't agree with this, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. I would personally like to see some kind of press release showing the stability of the slabs and the newfound strength and their tag, tag grading process is changing for the better. We've decided to enhance the strength and sturdiness of our slabs by 30% by adding this microplastic. I don't know how they're going to word it, guys. Okay, science. Just do something that shows that you care about the strength and integrity of your slabs, instead of trying to say, oh no, that's a proprietary security feature, so the slabs break apart as soon as you touch them. That way, if anybody's trying to touch them, they just can't touch them. They just break. It just explodes. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Just kind of seems like that's cap to me. But I'm still all for there being another big grading company on the block. And I don't want to receive hate for this. I mean, you can be critical of my opinion on this, but I think that there's room for tag grading. And I personally would like to own a couple tag graded cards in the future, of cards that I'd like to grade myself personally and see how tag perceives them, with their grading scale. But until I see some type of move made to right this wrong, in my opinion, I'm not touching tag. And that's just my 2 cents on it. Could there be, I usually don't call out channels, but they kind of did this themselves. Mystic Rips, he talks about, the upside potential to grading with tag. And then, points out, I am biased. I have a huge inventory of tag cards. So it's kind of like, that doesn't help your case very much if you're like super pro this company and the potential upside, but you also have a huge inventory of it already. But I got to give it to him. There could be some potential upside to grading in a company that's new on the block that gets really hot. And we are seeing, and there's no debating this, we are seeing tag cards successfully oversell on the market compared to PSA CGC. So I do think that there is a market for tag and people are going to stick with it and people believe in it. And I also think that video is not big enough of a sample size to say that, hey, tag slabs are trash. That's not fair, and it wouldn't be right of me to condemn them off of that one video and barely doing any due diligence. I'm just calling it how it looks for the most part. This guy looked very unbiased that did the video. It looked like he wanted to be excited about it, and then it looked like he was really, really let down by his experience when things kind of went to hell in a handbag or a man purse in my case. So yeah, all that is fine and well. Tag will probably end up okay. And the sample size is probably small. There are probably a lot of people that have great experience with tag that say, hey man, I'm trying to break this slab. It does not break that easily. I don't know what happened with that guy's slab. I'm sure PSA, CGC, BGS, I'm sure they've all encased cards improperly to a point where they basically cracked open, right? I even heard at one point someone said they cracked open a PSA slab with their bare hands. Now that looked very difficult for them to do, but I've seen it. So there's enough blame to go around to all these grading companies, but what will tag do moving forward is the question. Also, most of you may know this, I'm a big fan of Rattle Pokemon. I love his videos, big supporter of that channel. And shout out to him for being on top of this. And it may be the way that he phrased this as well, but I think the proof is in the pudding of his content as well. The tag grading basically was bullying the guy that initially put out the content, kind of exposing them. Now, what's so silly about this is they could have just, they could have handled it in so many different ways. They could have just been like, hey, please go ahead and send those cards back to us. We are not going to charge you a dime. We are going to reslab those cards. They should have been encased properly. I think there's always a better way for business owners to handle things. And that's really all I've got to say about that. I don't want to get too deep into it. I just thought it was an easy video to go ahead and talk about and kind of give my opinion on it. Definitely want to hear what you guys think. Are you pro tag? Do you want to start grading your cards with tag? Do you feel like the opportunity to get in now could really be worth it to get in on the ground level of a grading company when they're smaller? If they become more respected and there's a huge premium on tag cards that receive the highest rank grade, yeah, one could say that it's worth it to get involved right now. But another point Rattle made that one of my friends pointed out to me that I think is pretty sound is that why grade with a company that's new on the block that has not fully proven themselves yet when you have other options that have been around for much longer? So, and that's a valid point, but I think again, it's tough to boil it down to something like that and say that, hey, they haven't been around long enough. I'm not touching a company that hasn't proven themselves. You got to give time. You got to give time for things to cook. This grading company is no different. Tag needs time to cook and get their sauce just right, just the right amount of flavor. In this case, just the right amount of slab strength, in my opinion. Guys, I swear, if they do some kind of press release, some kind of news update on their slabs being sturdier, I think that's all that's needed. I mean, look at CGC with the huge scandal they just had on grading those prototype cards. Millions of dollars wrapped up in that scandal. People are still grading CGC, not even worried about it, right? These companies time and time again screw up majorly and no one really bats an eye at it. After a couple of weeks, months, time for things to blow over, time for a new drama to bubble up to the surface of the hobby. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about tag grading. Very exciting, very upsetting also, and kind of a bummer for the person that was really excited who made that initial video. And I want to know, anybody that has tag graded cards, please let us know in the comments section what your experience has been so far. Has it been good? Has it been bad? Has it been shocking? Have you been utterly disappointed and surprised at the weakness of those slabs? Or would you go against this argument and say, no, I don't know what happened with that slab, with those slabs. Mine all came in fine. They seem really sturdy. I would like to hear from other people so that I can make a better informed, full opinion about this. But for the time being right now, kind of looks like they're in a bad position. Also, one thing I thought was interesting, there's a picture dropped in our Discord of tags set up at a convention, and they had girls wearing skimpy clothes. And I kind of, that just looked a little bit sus, just looked kind of trashy. At the same time, it's one of the same strategies that other companies like Red Bull have used that was mentioned in our Discord. Could this be a sales tactic that's kind of frowned upon? Or is it just, it's what they're doing and it's working for them? I don't know. Definitely interested to hearing what you guys think. And then lastly, I do have some new news. I'm pretty excited about it. I think that I'm going to become an LLC. I don't see the real downside other than the chance, much higher chance of being audited by the IRS, which I think is something that people should think about. If you're just, a collector looking to trade, buy, sell, flip occasionally, it makes some side hustle money, but paying taxes on stuff and having it lumped in with your personal taxes isn't that big of a deal to you. I don't see a point to starting it up as a business or becoming an LLC. I honestly don't really feel like I need to do this, but we are going to become an LLC, one, to get a tax exemption number, so that I can save some money on the stuff that I am paying taxes on eBay. And two, because eBay does have a feature, at least last I checked, it had a feature where you enter in your tax exemption number, your tax ID number, and it will allow you to save on the taxes, which would be good for international items. It would be good for bigger ticket cards. International items, I say, because they don't have the PSA vault, so you can't save taxes that way. Also, for me, collecting theme decks, which is one of my favorite things to buy and sell. Theme decks, it would be great if I could save taxes on those, because I'm always buying and selling those. And I would have a much better margin if I wasn't paying taxes twice, essentially. One other thing that's very big about, having an LLC is not that I would necessarily want to go into distribution. That's not something that I really am interested in at this point in time. But I do think that it would be worth it when the market does do a big reprint, like we're hearing so many of these reprints coming down the pipeline. When that happens and we have these bigger secondary sellers that do get distribution and get amazing allocations, they will post to eBay, and that'll be one of the best prices you can get. You might pay a little bit more than people getting distribution, but I still don't think it's worth the hassle of having all of those things you're going to have to buy into with distribution. I think it's better to become a business and then buy on the secondary market, save taxes that way. So saving taxes on cases or booster boxes might actually reopen the scenario where I'm buying sealed products again. I didn't think it was something I was interested in. I'm still not fully convinced that it's something that I want to do, but it is something I'm on the fence about. And I've already stacked a large sealed collection, and a huge deal that I was going to make fell through. Actually, 2 huge deals that I was going to make on my entire seal collection fell through. So at this point, I don't even think I'm interested in selling it anymore. It was something that was going to be really helpful for us in the moment, but at this point, I'm saving money again. I'm not really pressed to get rid of it right now. So I think if I could save money on taxes and continue buying sealed products and cases, saving some money on the taxes, even at a slightly higher than MSRP price, I would be okay with that. Now, there's no telling what's going to happen with these reprints. There's no telling that I'll even get a chance to buy something like Surging Sparks cases, but it would be nice to be able to buy those, and save on taxes. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about starting an LLC. I'm probably way overdue on it. I probably should have done this years ago, but hey, we're looking at it now, and it's something that I'm kind of excited about. Anyways, wanted to let you guys know on that, give you a little update on that. Tomorrow, unless something else pops up, I want to do a dedicated video on Destined Rivals. We are in trouble. This set's going to be insane. Don't want to hype it up too much, but yeah, only a matter of time. The clock is ticking. Not even thinking about Journey Together, but Journey Together is going to be a whirlwind too. So anyways, fun time to be in the hobby. Not stressed out at all about it. All right, peace out, guys. Have a good one.